Yep.
I'm sorry. After this, can we do a roll call real quick?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yep, thanks. So all in favor of approving the February 2021 minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. And then to kick us off here with a quick roll call, I believe there are just the four of us, Mr. Mock,
Present.
Ms. Wilhelm,
Here.
Mr. Singletary.
Yep.
Good morning. All right. I don't think we have any continuances and withdrawals, so we'll move into the executive director's report, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Brandon, Tim Mock, Deputy Director for the Department of Natural Resources. A couple updates here. DNR's fiscal year 2021 supplemental package has been approved. $20 million for capacity expansion and infrastructure improvements at our state parks, $6 million for wildfire risk mitigation, $4 million for watershed restoration. Those bills were signed on Sunday by the governor. DNR is developing plans for our next step to start the new normal planning, including meeting criteria, a staggered return to offices, boards and commission meetings, and how we can balance keeping employees safe and getting back to support our customers. So we expect here in the relatively near future, next couple of months, there may be some opportunities to begin meeting in some capacity in person. So more on that as we continue to watch the COVID statistics. The Colorado Geographic Advisory Naming Board met last Friday. We have approved the temporary process guidelines at that meeting. Bylaws have been approved, so we've now stood up the organization. The Advisory Naming Board will begin considering naming and renaming proposals at its next meeting expected in April. Quick avalanche report here through March 19th, 3,875 avalanches reported, 681 human triggered avalanches reported, 67 individuals caught in avalanches, and 12 deaths. So again, we are continuing to urge all of our partners, stakeholders to be cautious in the backcountry there. Make sure you check avalanche conditions before you go. The electric car maker Rivian, this is a little bit exciting news. The Parks and Wildlife Commission last week approved a sponsorship with the electric truck maker. Rivian will be installing at their expense charging stations for electric vehicles in the majority of our state parks. So the commission, Parks and Wildlife, are continuing to kind of finalize that contract, but I think that's a real kind of interesting and positive partnership. And then finally, we expect probably next week the introduction of our Keep Colorado Wild Pass. This is going to be a paradigm shift in terms of how we collect funding for parks and wildlife. It will include some type of a opt-out fee on your vehicle registrations. More details on that as the legislation is continuing to be refined. And that is all for my report. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to engage. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Tim? Okay, well, thank you very much. Move on to Ginny then with the Division Director report, please.
Yes, thank you. Ginny Brandon, Division Director. Yeah, just I'll be a little brief. One, I know we've been having some short board meetings. Don't get used to it. You've got a doozy coming your way in April. So that'll put an end to this streak of short meetings. And then I know everybody wants to know about the board seats for Forrest and Jill. And we do have names over at the governor's office for the industry seat, which was Forrest's seat. And so hoping we'll get an appointment soon. And then on the conservation seat, we are still looking, but we've got some pretty good leads on some folks. So so hopefully we'll have some names. I'll send those names upstairs, and then after that they'll go to the governor's office. But we have had some trouble filling that seat, but had some conversations yesterday that make me feel hopeful. So so that's about all I have. If anybody has any questions or comments?
Great, thanks, Jenny. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you much. I look forward to those new board members. That'll be interesting. Let's see. So I don't believe we have a consent agenda today. So we can move right into our first enforcement hearing for file number M-1999-042. If you are planning to present in this, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth? I'm going to assume that was a yes, but you were both muted.
Yeah. Yes. So I realized that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you much. All right, great. Let's see. So do we have a division presentation on this?
I believe we'll turn it over to council at this point.
Thank
Good
you.
morning, Madam Chair. I think, I don't think this is set for a hearing today. This is the matter of White Banks. This is Scott Schultz with the Colorado Attorney General's office representing the division in this matter. And this was set for a hearing at last month's hearing. And we continued it. I think the board gave the division and the operator some direction on a cease and desist order. We were able to reach agreement on that. It was early afternoon yesterday. My apologies for getting it to you a little late. So I don't think we're set for a hearing, but we do have a cease and desist order that is a stipulated agreement between the division and the operator. And I think we will reset the hearing. And I think we have an agreement with Operators Council, Mr. Stevens, for May. But first, I think we should I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the stipulated agreement regarding the cease and desist order, and just making sure all members of the board had a chance to review it, and happy to answer any questions along with Mr. Stevens.
Okay, board members, do we have any questions? Did everyone have a chance to review that last evening or this morning? Okay, great. Okay. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Schultz. I also had a chance to review that. I think it's pretty clear and a good kind of written update to where we are right now with this discussion. I appreciate that there's no hearing today and that we're just kind of getting an update here. That makes sense. And we'll plan to discuss this further, I guess, in May.
The one thing, Madam Chair, I think that we do need from the board is if they would, I guess, make that stipulated agreement into a board order. I think that would just make it a little cleaner. And I think that cease and desist, again, we're trying to keep it kind of as basic as possible, given the current litigation between Mr. Stevens, the Forest Service, and another entity, Avalanche Mining. But I think it would be helpful if we could get the board's blessing and a vote on that cease and desist order.
Okay. So just a motion to approve, please, the cease and desist order, I guess, finalized and submitted on March 24th of 2021. Is that appropriate?
That's correct. Unfortunately, I forgot to add dates to that stipulated agreement, but Mr. Stevens did sign it yesterday. But I think with the board's blessing, the dates, it does say that the 24th, that the board enters that stipulated agreement.
Lauren, this is Chuck. You know, however the motion gets teed up, one of the easy things to do is to just incorporate the terms of the stipulated cease and desist agreement into an order, and we can do that pretty simply. Just kind of depends on, you know, what direction the board wants to go in, but it is really easy for the board to do that, to just accept the stipulated agreement, approve it, and you know, incorporate the terms into an order.
Okay, all right. Well then, may I please get a motion from a board member to approve the terms of the stipulated cease and desist as a board official board order or board approved action.
So moved.
Great. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. I appreciate the operator and division working so well together to try to figure out the best path forward here. All right, well then I guess our next enforcement hearing would be for file number M-2008-076 for Robinson Sons.
Madam Chair, one last thing on the White Banks matter is I think if we could, I guess, formally set that matter for the May hearing.
Yes.
Mr. Stevens and I had some discussions over email, but I think the May hearing we are in agreement with. Obviously, Mr. Stevens and his clients still have the right to ask for a continuance at that time, but we thought that the May date would be the most appropriate and kind of see where we're at in this matter then.
Okay. Do you need a board motion for that, or is that just officially it's on the record for May?
Not sure that that's kind of up to you.
Lauren, this is Chuck. I think it's fine to. I mean, I can when I draft the order, I can just note that you know, per discussion, the matter has been set for hearing in May. I don't know that you need a separate motion to get it in, you know, to get it scheduled. That the scheduling the hearings is kind of at the discretion of the board, and I don't think you need an official board action to do that.
Great, great. Well, let's make sure that's then included in that order. I think that's a clear way to communicate that. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Sorry for interrupting. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like there are a couple loose ends here, so it's nice to get all of that put together in one little blow. Okay. All right, well, then if we're comfortable with the previous discussion item, let's move into file number M-2008-076 enforcement hearing for Robinson Sons. Great. Apologies. If you plan to present for this case, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. All right. My name is Daniel Cunningham. I am an environmental protection specialist with the Division of Reclamation, Mining and Safety. I bring before the board today the consideration of the final forfeiture of the financial warranty for the Robinson Sons gravel pit, number 1, permit M-2008-076, currently held by Robinson Sons Incorporated. The site is located approximately 23 miles west of Trinidad in Los Animas County, Colorado. It is a 112C permit, currently holding 180.6 acres, where they mine for sand and gravel. The division currently holds a bond in the amount of $52,815 in the form of a letter of credit. However, the actual required amount is $173,730. A little bit about the site history. It was originally a 78-acre permit where they were supposed to mine in 5 phases and not disturb any more than 20 acres at any given time. However, on November 23rd, 2016, DRMS conducted an inspection. It was found that 6.74 acres were affected outside the approved permit boundary. On March 14, 2017, the Mine Land Reclamation Board found Robinson Sons Incorporated in violation of CRS 34-32.5-109, Section 1, for engaging in a mining operation without first obtaining a reclamation permit. A cease and desist order was issued, and Robinson Sons Incorporated were required to incorporate all affected lands into the permit. Civil penalties were issued at that time. On December 21st, 2018, the division approved Amendment 1, which increased the acreage by 102.6 acres and increased the surety to $173,730. This amount was due by February 19, 2019. The division did not receive that amount. Robinson Sons Incorporated were brought before the board again, and a new violation was found in section CRS 34-32.5-117, section 4, subsection C, paragraph 2, for failure to provide a financial warranty. The permit was revoked, and Robinson Sons Incorporated were given until July 24th to advance the reclamation work of the affected lands to the existing bond of $52,815, or provide the division with the additional $120,915. The board suspended the $64,000 civil penalty if the operator complied with the board order. At that time, the board found the financial warranty subject to forfeiture per CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 1, subsection B. The board reconvened, and on September 24, 2019, an extension was granted to October 22nd, 2019. An additional extension was granted per the June 30th, 2020 board meeting. This also modified the board order to allow the operator to submit an additional financial warranty in an amount prescribed by the division. This allowed the division to account for all reclamation work that had been conducted on site. Both of these extensions were approved by the division. However, on October 1st, 2020, the division conducted an aerial inspection. When looking at the previous inspection in January of 2020, no reclamation work could be seen. The division conducted an additional inspection on December 18, 2020, and again, no reclamation work could be seen. At that time, the division estimated that the reclamation work of the site would be $99,113. Mr. Robinson was given multiple phone calls and sent an email in regards to that inspection, but did not return the phone calls or respond to the email. Division conducted an additional aerial inspection on January 13, 2021, and as previously stated, no reclamation work could be seen. This failed to meet the December 27, 2020 Mine Land Reclamation Board deadline. Per CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 2.
You're pretty well locked in on somebody, but this guy is.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute Mr. Singletary. I think he's in the background there. You're good.
Per CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 2, the operator and financial warrantor were sent notice of board hearing on February 4, 2021. The reason for the forfeiture can be found in CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 1, subsection B, which states the operator is in default under a performance warranty and has failed to cure such default, although the operator has been given written notice and has had ample time to do so. This board order was found in violation of CRS 34-32.5-117, Section 4, subsection B and C, for failure to provide the financial warranty. Robinson Sons Incorporated have been given more than 60 days to provide the additional warranty. Mr. Robinson and Robinson Sons Incorporated signed their performance warranty on March 17, 2009. They agreed to comply with all acts, rules, and regulation. Failure to maintain an adequate financial warranty constitutes a default on the operator's performance warranty and is in violation of CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 1, subsection B. The board has found the financial warranty subject to forfeiture per the May 30th, 2019 board order. To summarize everything so far, the board has already found the operator in violation. The permit is revoked. The financial warranty has been found subject to forfeiture already. And both corrective actions of either reclaiming the site down to the $52,000 or providing the additional required surety have not been provided to DRMS as of December 27, 2020. The actions the boards can take can be found in CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 3, in subsection A that states, at a hearing held pursuant to subsection 2 of this section, the board may withdraw or modify any determination that the financial warranty is subject to forfeiture, settle or compromise the determination, or confirm its determination that the financial warranty should be forfeited. Subsection B states that upon finding that a financial warranty should be forfeited, the board shall issue written findings of fact and conclusion of law to support its decision, and shall issue an order directing effective financial warrantors to immediately deliver to the board all amounts warranted by applicable financial warranties. The division recommends that the board find the financial warranty for permit M 2008-076 in the amount of $52,815 forfeited, and issue an order for warrantors to deliver to the board all amounts warranted by applicable financial warranties in accordance with CRS 34-32.5-118, Section 3. In addition, the division recommends the boards find the previously suspended civil penalty in the amount of $64,000 be due and payable in full within 30 days of the board order. Are there any questions?
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions for the division at this time? Okay. Mr. Robinson, I see you're present. Do you have a presentation or discussion you'd like to share with us?
Well, I have been doing reclamation. A lot of it is seeding and putting a lot of stuff back. I have a fence line right on that one high wall that I've been working with my neighbor. It's my property, but there's an old fence in there. So the neighbor's been good, and but I didn't want to tear down that fence because of a lawsuit that could possibly happen, just because it's an old fence. So I wasn't able to pull that high wall down yet, just because I didn't want to get into a lawsuit of tearing down an old fence or something, because I had that trouble with the other end of my property. And but I've been working with him, and he's all right with it. But I just got to move the fence to the proper property line before I can tear that fence down, just to not get into any legal disputes with him. So I was not able to backfill that or slope that southern wall. But he's in agreement with me as long as I put the fence back and everything, that we can go ahead and do that. I'm asking just for a little bit more time, but I have done reclamation. He had something on that I had cut down trees and did more mining, but that's not true. I hauled those trees in from another for possible mulch later for covering. So I have not done any new mining other than cleaning up stockpiles or screening out some of the materials out of old overburdened material that was there, or waste material that came off of the old crushing. But I was just asking maybe for a little more time now that I was able to agree with my neighbor to move that fence.
Well, when you say a little bit more time, what are you thinking? What does that mean to you?
Probably, I mean, this weather's been kind of crazy, so we've been snowplowing. We've been getting a lot of snow now, so I've been having to snowplow. That, this isn't my main job. I mean, I'm not at the pit all the time. I'm usually snowplowing or doing other things. But I haven't been able to put a lot of attention just because we've been getting snow almost, every week down here. So I've been up snowplowing up in the higher country. But now that the snow is slowing down, and I think I'll have more time, to maybe 60 days to pull that wall down and slope that end of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not well, for me, it's not a lot of work to do that, not a lot of time. It was just that fence line is right on the ridge, and on the opposite end, I had a dispute with a guy, and you know, it ended up in court, and I ended up just spending a lot of money for 2 acres, and it wasn't worth the court and the time to fight that. But I talked with this landowner, and he's a lot easier guy to deal with, and he's agreed that we can move that fence and get that slope down.
Madam Chair, this is Russ Means with the division. Mr. Robinson, the division's made several attempts and stuff to have conversations or communications with you, and you have not returned those communications. This is the first time we've seen you or heard from you in 6 months. Can you please tell the board and stuff why we can't get a hold of you?
Usually in the day, I'm working on top of Chera Pass a lot of the days. Where we're at, I don't have phone service. You know, we're kind of in a remote area where cell phone service is very limited. So I'm usually up high, and I did get one voicemail, but I hadn't seen any other. I did get this letter, and I should have gotten back with him on some of that stuff. And I apologize for that.
Because communication certainly would help staff in that and trying to help resolve some of these issues and stuff instead of in front of the board. Madam Chair, the division 60 days and stuff is about it. If you look at the time frames and everything else and stuff in that, we've given Mr. Robinson a lot of opportunities and stuff here, and he has not afforded himself to take upon himself to get that done. So that's the only comment I have now. Thank you.
You know, I have done a lot of reclamation from that 170,000 down to the 99, which I thought was more, but based on what you guys put in as money amounts for hauling in some pretty outrageous sized equipment to reclaim that, you know, eats up most of that money. You know, where you're 90,000, I can reclaim back for almost half of that.
Oh, that's the idea.
You know what I'm saying? Because of moving in equipment that, you know, the cost of moving in is almost $20,000 that you guys bring in equipment. So I'm, you know, trying to, you know, I put back a lot and you guys still have a lot of money on there, but then I look at the deal and a lot of it is just moving in equipment and stuff. So, you know, I thought I did more and to be down to that amount, but when you guys come back with the amounts, it's higher than what I thought it would be. And I understand, you know, it costs you guys what it does if you have to bring somebody in, but I'm not opposed to doing all, you know, the work to put that back.
Madam Chair, this is Jared with the division. I initiated, you know, the initial surety increase a number of years, you know, a couple of years ago. And at that time, after the initial violation was found, Mr. Robinson did go in and do a substantial amount of work, which is why we were in support of the initial extension of time to conduct additional reclamation. It was actually about a year ago. It'll be a year in April. We had this same hearing scheduled for April of 2020 for final forfeiture of the financial warranty, and Mr. Robinson requested additional time right before the hearing. And again, the division was supportive of that because we had seen reclamation work. You know, it's been about a year and we have not seen any substantial amount of reclamation work. I understand the challenges he has had with his southern neighbor legally. You know, we've had some complaints that we've dealt with in the past and worked with Mr. Robinson to address to the best of our ability. The reclamation costs, you know, he has a high wall, and the problem, one of the couple other challenges out there is the affected land is spread out over several different parcels. So it's not all one concise area. And so it does increase the cost of our reclamation work. And yeah, we do have to bring in equipment. One thing, Mr. Robinson, I guess I would ask is one of the last communications you had with my employee, Daniel Cunningham, you indicated that, you know, we weren't welcome on your site anymore. Why? Yeah, why?
No, I never said that.
Okay.
I personally told you guys that? No,
That's
I've never
I
said
was
that.
told.
Yeah.
So are you
No.
willing to work with us moving forward? And can
Yes,
I-
but I personally have never said that to anyone. And that, did you guys meet somebody that was on my site that said?
It was a phone
I
call
have
from
never-
you. It was a phone call from you, Mr. Robinson. The only time that I've been in communication with you was in January.
I have honestly, I swear to that I have never said that. I have never said that you guys are not welcome on my site, unless there was somebody on my property at the time that was there, but I never sent a phone call or anything that would have said that. I swear to that I've never said that. I called you and said that?
Yes, sir.
I have never said that you guys are not welcome on my site. I've always been, and actually I didn't get a hold of you one time, and then I had I haven't really talked to Daniel.
I have several phone calls to you that I've left voicemails with you in November, December, and January, and then the phone call on January that we spoke.
I did get one voicemail from you, and I didn't have your number, didn't show up in my contacts, so I thought it was like a spam or not a spam, but and I didn't see it till way later. But I have never told you that you guys were not welcome on the property. I am totally willing to work with you guys, but no, I have never told you that, honestly.
Well, I appreciate that we're kind of having this conversation now and getting to a point where we are discussing, kind of back and forth and what needs to be done here. And I'm encouraged to hear, Mr. Robinson, that you are willing to complete that reclamation. If Mr. Robinson is able to pull down that high wall over the next 60 days and complete some more of that seeding work, is the division willing to kind of continue working with him on these deadlines? I mean, the additional financial warranty and the potential financial revocations here are pretty extreme. So love to find a middle path here where we can get the site reclaimed as it needs to be in a timely fashion, but also in a way that works for Mr. Robinson realistically. We can actually meet in the middle here.
And I did some more seeding. Actually, I did some more seeding yesterday. We had been so dry last year that I seeded, but nothing grew. So I reseeded again this winter, and then we were supposed to get this snow. Oh my! Today we were supposed to get a lot of snow. It is snowing right now, but I seeded yesterday, so that moisture would help that seed grow. And a lot of the reclamation is dependent on the grass and stuff coming out, which is a big portion of it.
Ms. Robinson, I do have something in regards to your seeding. When I did my inspection in December, there was a lot of erosional issues that had developed due to lack of the site being seeded,
right?
Including a 4-foot deep erosional issue that was about 20 feet long. And that has led us to this. Part of the reason why we said there's no reclamation work that can be seen is because of the erosional issues that have developed on that site.
I did see those pictures, and those are pretty easy for me to fix right there. I mean, there was. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson, go ahead.
No problem. I did see those, and those are pretty easy to fill in and reseed. But I understand that we were hoping for some moisture last year. We didn't get any, so nothing grew last year. And I tried to do a little bit of watering on some of it, but it was just so dry and windy that the ground never took. And last year I didn't get to seed it before. Well, I tried to seed, but we didn't get the usual spring snows that we normally get. So it didn't get to embed that seed in, and nothing grew last year. I'm hoping this spring, we've had some good snows this year, so I'm hoping that it will take this year.
All right, Madam Chair, this is Russ Means for the division again. The division is willing to give Mr. Robinson another 60 days and stuff, as he stated, to get work done. What we'd like to do and stuff is have the board stipulate continuation of maybe this issue and stuff for 60 days. And in 60 days, the division will conduct an inspection, and we'll use that inspection and stuff as a basis and stuff to move forward and bring this issue back to the board. If Mr. Robinson shows that he's gotten his reclamation done and everything else and stuff in that, then we can take a look at other avenues. However, I think it's really important and stuff that Mr. Robinson understands that 60-day, the board is affording him a last 60 days. I don't think that it's fair and stuff in that for to keep on continuing on this. We've been working on this since December of 2017.
Mr. Means, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I guess that's kind of the point here, is that we've been working on this for such a long time. What I'm worried about is looking at those pictures and the amount of reclamation that needs to go on, whether 60 days really does get us there. I'm wondering if we could have even a check-in within 30 days, and if nothing is happening, then maybe we're the fools here, because this has gone on. We haven't seen the work. I'm ready to vote to right now to on final forfeiture of that warranty. So I'm kind of at my limits here, and so I'd like to see movement sooner than later. And if we don't have any movement within the next 30 days, I'd like this back within 60 days here at the board.
Staff can make that happen, sir.
I have a question about the inspection. Will you be able, now that you guys are more comfortable talking with each other and communicating with each other, to have an in-person inspection, or will it still be limited to the aerial inspection per kind of COVID requirements?
The division could be on site, and that we had backed off and stuff because of apparently a miscommunication or whatever. But yeah, it'll be an in-person inspection, and we can conduct that and stuff with Mr. Robinson on site, and that it would be most helpful and stuff for him to be available of whatever day, but we'll be able to set that up. But yeah, within the next 30 days and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I did miss him on that date. Like I said, I didn't see that voicemail, and I didn't realize it was his. And then I caught it after he had come and gone already. So I would have been there, but I was on another job in another area.
Okay.
All right.
I apologize for missing that meeting.
Yeah,
Looks
Mr. Singletary, please. You're on mute there, John. Oh, John, you're still muted. Hang on one second. Can you unmute yourself there? There you go.
I am here. Anyway, Tim, Mr. Muck, I agree with where you're coming from, but I also have to say that a year ago right now was the driest I've ever seen it down in this part of the world. And his ability to see much progress on seeding is absolutely true. But when this year, Trinidad's had the absolute opposite. They get us snow every 3 or 4 days. So I think two things can happen. The only thing where Mr. Robinson, I concur with Mr. Mock, is your lack of staying in touch with the agency here, with the department is troublesome. And if it's not that important to you, then we have to take other means. But I would, if you're sincere about what you're trying to do, because I live east of Pueblo and I know what's going on. I know you're getting snow right now, and we have an opportunity right now to get the seed started. But last year was the driest I've seen it ever.
Yeah.
But I guess I would concur with some relation to what Tim with Mr. Mock is talking about. But I'd sure like to see it get done. But there's a real responsibility for you to stay in communication. I mean, they're not that hard to get a hold of. And I know I know right where you're plowing on Couture Pass and stuff. I know you're out of phone service there a lot, but this is pretty important. It's important to Colorado and it's important to us. And I just, you need to live up to what you say you're going to do. But but I think we can work with you, but you got to give us a chance to do that.
I do appreciate that. In order to pay for this stuff, I'm on other jobs, and these jobs up here are limited service. So I'm working full days you know, up on other jobs that just happen, you know, it's just limited service up here. So if I don't get a voicemail, I don't know that somebody called because it doesn't show up on my phone. Like I said, I did get that voicemail of his, but I didn't have it in my phone book, which is no excuse, but it sat in my voicemail because I thought it was, a sales type of call. And then when I did see it, he had already come and gone. So I missed him on that date. But I have him in, I have both of his numbers in my phone now.
Okay, so it sounds like.
But I have never said that you guys were not welcome on the site. Very limited talking to Mr. Cunningham, but I've always, even with Jared, when Jared was there, I never said anyone could not be there.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you working with the division. I know the division is willing and wanting to work with you. So what I'm hearing here is a couple of options. It sounds like an in-person inspection with you on site, Mr. Robinson, would be very helpful. That would give the division an opportunity to really talk through some of the erosional issues that they're seeing, talk through exactly what your plan for that high wall and that fence line is going to look like, and completing that work and getting that seed down as you can between storms here. I agree, last year was tough, and I'm glad to hear you seeded before the snow this year. It means it could be some good progress for you here. And also that in-person inspection will allow the division to see that you have seeded, because you can't really tell that from an aerial. So I hear my fellow board members' concern over this timeline. It's definitely been a long process that we've all been working together on these issues. So I agree with that sort of 30-day check-in to make sure that that inspection has occurred, and that the division can tell that you've started your efforts on reclamation and getting that completed within 60 days. I think that makes sense. And then, yes, again, to have that final 60-day check-in after you've completed more of the reclamation and had that inspection. So we'll have, it sounds like, 2 check-ins. Yes, Ms. Wareham.
Madam Chair, maybe something, and Mr. Robinson could let us know if this would work. Instead of maybe trying to play phone tag or catch up, is there an opportunity where Mr. Cunningham could arrange even a weekly check-in so that you all know it's on the calendar and you can schedule it and you're not trying to chase somebody down? We know how cell service is, and it's great that it's snowing and you're busy, but kind of be a little bit more proactive about that, because I do find that the communication typically is what makes these things really, really work and get everyone on the same page. So in addition to this kind of 30-day, 60-day timeline, setting something up on a weekly, bi-weekly basis.
I can do that, maybe Fridays or something, or
yeah, whatever you guys figure it out, whatever works for you all, after all of this.
For Daniel would be fine with me.
Yeah, I'd be willing to set it up with him if he can give me a call and we can talk about this.
Okay, I can do
Maybe
that.
a phone call right after this meeting so you guys can coordinate and we know we're all in the same place, same time, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have his number?
Appreciate that. Yes, please.
Do you have his number?
I think I called him this morning, and I think I have the right number. So I don't know if that's his cell. I called the other phone. All I got was the voicemail, and then I called. Was it your cell phone, Daniel? Or?
Yes. Yeah.
And I got a hold of you on that this morning.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. I guess I'm going to officially close testimony here, open it up for any final board deliberation. Any other final thoughts here, board members? Okay, great. I'm wondering if it's appropriate for us to make a motion at this time. And maybe that motion is just that we will have these 30 and 60-day check-ins with a final deadline of 2 months from today to see some of that reclamation completed. And if someone can create one of those motions, I'd appreciate it.
Lauren, were you looking to include like the requirements for weekly check-ins as well? I mean, it sounds like where the discussion went was, you know, kind of looking for a motion to continue the matter for 60 days with requirements for a 30-day in-person inspection and what weekly check-ins between operator and the division.
I'm so glad you're here, Chuck. Yes. That does sound like a lovely summary of what we were just discussing.
So moved.
Is that,
Great.
that's
Can I
good.
get a
Does that
second?
make sense to you, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir, that does make sense.
Thank you. Yes, please, Mr. Hilbert.
Yeah, just one point of clarification. The 60-day deadline, will it be 60 days from today's board hearing, or will it be 60 days from the signature date of the board order, which would essentially give another 30 to 60 days depending on that date?
I would
ahead.
go with the signing of the board order. And for one reason, I'm not sure we're done with our snow events down there. And I know there's another one on the way. So it would satisfy me to do it at the time of the board orders signing.
You know, I'm comfortable with that too, just given the uncertainty of kind of early season construction work. You never know if it's just gonna be a mud bog or snow pit or whatever you're dealing with. So yeah, I would go with 60 days from the signed board order. So with that stipulation, board member Mock, are you still comfortable with your motion?
Yes, and that includes that 60 days after the board order.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you. I appreciate everyone's communication here today and really helpful discussion. I think this is a solid path forward and hopefully meets everyone in the middle enough that we can get this wrapped up well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. I believe our next discussion item is in relation to the Hard Rock rulemaking. As a general monthly update, please.
Good morning, board. This is Russ Means for the division. Jeff Fugate is not with us today. He's enjoying some family time during spring break. So really quick, we had our last scheduled informal meeting with all the stakeholders on February 25th. We had a lot of great general comments and stating of positions and concerns. We also got back some specific language suggestions and stuff that are going to be helpful. Now the rulemaking team is going through and making those edits and revisions and looking at the legal angles of those edits. And our goal is to have the final draft released to the informal stakeholders the first week of May. And then from there, we may have one last informal stakeholders meeting before we move into the formal process, which will probably start in June. I'm not anticipating giving you guys an update next month. For one thing, it's going to be a very long day and as we're working through these edits, there's not much of stuff to report other than we're working on it. So with that, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to entertain those. If not, then I'm done with my report.
Thank you, Mr. Means. Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you for the update. I appreciate all the hard work and we'll look forward to seeing some of those drafts moving forward. Do we have any members of the public here for public comment today?
Nope, we're good today.
Okay, wonderful. Well, on that note, then I guess we can wrap up our monthly meeting. And thank you, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you all. Oh, yes, Mr.
Madam Chair, if I might real quick, I'm not sure, maybe if Director Brandon, thinking about next month, it's sounding kind of ominous. Do you think we might need 2 days? What's that calendar look like? Are we going to be able to knock this all out in one?
Jenny, if you want, this is Russ Means for the
Russ.
division. So, yeah, we have it's a 112 with a very large number of objectors, and that we're having the pre-hearing conference actually next Wednesday. And out of that, we'll have a better idea of whether this is going to be a 1 or a 1.5 day. And that we're certainly, Mr. Koyman and Mr. Fugate, we'll all be advocating for keeping it very focused and trying to keep it to a 1 day event, but we'll see how that timeline and stuff comes out. But they're due just to the number of objectors and stuff, and that it's a little bit hard to figure out. But we're gonna we'll have a better idea next week, and perhaps we can just send everybody an email update through Cami to let you guys know whether it looks like a 1 day or a 1.5 day.
Yep, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Keep that second day open then. Okay.
At this point, I would, yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it'll be a long discussion one way or another, but okay. Well, thanks everyone.
Lots of lawyers in the room.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. All right. Well, thank you. I think we're all wrapped up unless there's any final comments or questions. All right. Well, thanks. Enjoy spring break for anyone who's on spring break, and we'll see you in April.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone.